Hey everybody, so this week I am 1 year post-op from having my spinal fusion surgery, L5S1. It has been a long road, but I can tell you right now at the beginning this is a very positive message. I cannot believe how well I'm doing from where I came. Quick background, April 2014 I was overseas, ended up injuring my back. Didn't really know how bad I'd injured my back at the time, just had a lot of pain in my right leg. Took some pills, did some physical therapy, had a couple of shots, went on about my business because I was very busy and, couldn't waste time with an injured leg because I really didn't realize I had a back injury. I thought I had a leg injury. Fast forward, about a year later, I am in Georgia and started having a lot more significant pain in my leg. I'd had some epidurals in the meantime. I knew it was a back issue at this point. I was taking lots of pills, tramadol, Percocet. I'd been put on Cymbalta, which is an antidepressant, but it has the nice side effect of it dulls nerve pain. And then somewhere, I guess it was probably the summer of 2015, started tripping. My right leg just all but stopped. It would stop working. It was very painful. Didn't really know what was going on. Went in, saw a neurologist. They said I needed to have surgery. Sent me off. November of 2015. So November of 2015, they went in, did a microdiscectomy or laminectomy, whatever you want to call it, where they shaved the disc around, they cleaned up a bunch of scar tissue, and they shaved off a bunch of bone spurs from where I'd actually fractured my back. Everything got worse after that. I don't know if I did something wrong during my recovery. I can tell you I didn't feel like I got the best post-op instructions. But essentially what I think happened is it made a space, and everything that had been sitting here kind of locked up but together, all of a sudden it had a place to move. And when it did, it completely shut the nerves down in my right leg. It was bone on bone cutting into the nerves. Went back to my original doctor. I'm just going to throw him under the bus right now because I really don't care. Dr. Gorham in Columbus, Georgia. And he told me I was structurally sound. I was just going to have to deal with it and take pills the rest of my life, and I needed to get out of the Army. His advice that I should probably get out of the Army was probably a pretty good one. The fact that I had to live the rest of my life in pain and take pills every day for the rest of my life to deal with the pain, I just personally think was bullshit. I went back to the neurologist that originally referred me to the surgeon, talked to him. He didn't really agree or disagree, but I told him if this is what I've got to deal with, I asked him to cut my leg off. I was like, we do great things with prosthetics now. Just cut my right leg off. Just cut it off right here at the hip. Give me a prosthetic. He sat there, and I think he actually contemplated it for about 3 minutes. He didn't really say anything. He said, he said, I've dealt with amputees. He said, if we did that because the damage is in your back and not in your leg, you would still have pain in your leg and in your right foot, but you wouldn't have a leg anymore. So this wouldn't fix the problem. And he sent me off to a guy named Dr. Burkus at the Houston Clinic in Columbus, Georgia. This guy, he said, is the only person in Columbus I will argue with the other guy, because the other guy is considered a god when it comes to surgery around here. I went and saw Dr. Burkus. He looked at my x-rays, took forever to get in to see him. He looked at MRIs, x-rays, did a physical examination, and he told me he could fix me. He was going to go in and he was going to fuse. He could see what was wrong. It wasn't a 100% guarantee, but he felt like he could help me. And he went in there on April of 2016, April 19th, 2016. He went in and was supposed to be about a 3-hour surgery, turned into 6 hours. He got in there, was a ton of scar tissue, but he he fused my L5S1. I got 4 screws. He cleaned up the disc area around the L4 a little bit, and he put in a new spacer, which is basically like a fake disc in between my L5 and my S1. I woke up in ICU 7 hours after I started surgery, and for the first time in 2 years, I had no pain in my right leg. The pain in my right leg had been absolutely excruciating for years. After the first surgery, the best way I can describe it is that it felt like at all times my right leg, my right foot was in a bucket of ice water. Now, I had experienced pain before, but For anybody that's watching this video, if you've dealt with nerve pain, it's just it is debilitating. I've always been able to work through pain. I've broken bones, I've broken fingers, toes, never went to the doctor. I've broken my arm, broken my nose many times, got punched a few times, can you tell? But this nerve pain was absolutely debilitating. I was taking, let's see, I'm just going to take you through what I was taking in a day in between surgeries, or before the first surgery. I was taking 1 Cymbalta. I was taking Tramadol, probably 2 Tramadol a day. I was taking 2 to 3 Percocets a day. I was taking Neurontin, or Gabapentin, whatever it's called. I think they had me on 9 of those a day. And I was probably drinking about a pint of bourbon a day just so I could sleep at night. It was so bad. My wife, God love her, getting up in the mornings, she would bring me pills and she would bring me a shot of bourbon just to get me going. Now, I don't think I was alcoholic or anything like that, because once things started getting better and the pain started going away, I was able to, just stop. I still have a drink quite often, but I have a drink. But that's what I was doing to get through the surgery. Now, to get into the good stuff, went in, had the surgery. There's another video, I've got the link down below, of me talking about it 3 weeks post-op and the things that I went through at that point. I will say that during the first 90 days, you need to avoid all bending, lifting, and twisting. Just BLT. Don't do it. Don't bend. Don't lift. Don't twist. And I say lift. Don't lift anything heavier than 5 to 10 pounds max. Don't be lifting your kids. You got to get you one of these little hook grabby things that helps you pick up your stuff and put your socks on in the morning, because you don't need to be bending over to do that. You got to avoid recliners at all costs. There's something about when you're sitting in a recliner, if you think about the way you sit when you're leaned up or propped up in the bed, or you're sitting in a recliner, you're putting all that pressure right here on your lower spine. Because think about how you curve, and you're putting all that pressure right there in that curve. For 90 days, get out of your recliner. Go on Staples.com or Walmart and buy you a cheap high back chair. I think we got one for 40 bucks. Matter of fact, we bought one for a friend of ours that went through surgery, had it shipped to him. You need to sit upright, and you're going to really start paying attention to your posture. For pain, you're going to get pills and stuff like this. I've learned that laying flat is the absolute best thing for pain after the surgery. When you're standing up or you're sitting up even, you've got pressure, compressing those discs. That's why when we get older, our back starts to hurt and we get shorter. Lay flat as you can. If you're going to have a pillow, just a really flat pillow. You never want to be propped up more than 20 degrees. It's something my doctor told me. Lay flat. It takes the pressure. It unloads your spine for a little bit, and it allows that pressure to go away. You got to get that picky-uppy thing. Now, I get into great detail in my other videos, so I'm going to let you go back and watch that one. Like I said, the link's in the description. 2 months after surgery, I started walking in a pool. No swimming. Doc did not want me to go horizontal swimming for at least 90 days. But at 2 months in, I started just doing pool walking. Not really the jogging, just walking in a pool. Prior to that, I've been doing a lot of walking outside. Not long walks. I would do probably 10 to 20 little 5-minute walks at a time right outside my house, avoiding hills. 3 months in, started doing physical therapy in a pool. This was a great benefit. I'm really happy that my insurance, my work provided this, but I did physical therapy down in a pool, and it started off with just some movement stuff, and it got to where I was doing core exercises and swimming in a pool. 5 months in, after surgery, started doing physical therapy on land, what you think of normally with your physical therapy, and we went back to things like leg lifts and these core strengthening exercises, because you know what? They had to cut those muscles, and if you want to prevent having future injury, you got to build up that core. 7 months after surgery, I was cleared to start doing body weight exercises, push-ups, stuff like that. It took me a little while to get where I could do pull-ups again, but doing body weight exercises 7 months in. At 8.5 months in, so for me this was December, I was cleared to really start getting after it. I was cleared. I could start running at my own pace and distance. And basically I was given no restrictions whatsoever except for pain and what my own mind gave me. I was told to work my way up back into, don't just jump back in and start doing things. But the doc told me that the spine itself was fused perfectly. That where my L5-S1 was actually stronger than any other part of my back at this point. But I needed to be smart and listen to my body, and as my body progressed, I could progress with it. That was 8.5 months. 10 months in. So 10 months in, y'all, I am chopping wood. I'm doing box jumps. I'm lifting weights. Not heavy, but I'm lifting weights and I'm doing all that stuff. 12 months, last couple weeks. Completed an obstacle course, race type thing. Think Spartan race. It wasn't a Spartan race, but think about that. I completed one of those. I passed the Army physical fitness test, Army physical assessment. Now I don't do the run right now. I probably could do the run, but I kind of got a gimme on that one, and I got to do an alternate event, which was a bike. But passed the push-ups, did the alternate event. I don't do sit-ups anymore. Was just told, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth the danger of risking it again. And there's a lot of other ways that I can prove that I'm physically fit. But 12 months in, they told me it would be 12 months. The doctor told me this surgery, it is 12 months for a full recovery. I tried to hear 4 months. I tried to hear 7 months. I tried to hear, 10 months. I'm feeling really good. It is 12 months from the time you have this surgery to the time that you are 100%. And I can honestly say that right now, I feel like I'm 100%. Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to tell you some of the negatives. 4 months into this thing, I did not feel like things were progressing fast enough. At that point, my mind was ready for me to be healed. I had been patient. I had done everything the doctor said for 4 months. Completely forgot. I didn't forget. I knew he told me it was 12 months, but I needed it now because there were things I wanted to do with my career. There were things I wanted to do with my family. I was not patient. I didn't do anything stupid, but I really think that it got into my head, and I don't really throw this word around a lot, but I probably went through some mild to moderate depression, truth be told. Somewhere at like the 6-month mark, I was taking myself off all my pills, and I didn't need all that anymore. But in my mind, I didn't know what the future looked like because I was at this point where my body was not healed. It wasn't even close to being healed. I no longer had the nerve pain, but I had a lot of what I call hardware pain. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the things in the military that I'd always wanted to do. I didn't know if I was going to be able to provide for my family the way that I always had. At this point, for 17 years, I had known one way of life, one way of supporting my family. And all of that potentially was over. And really going into the surgery, I'd given up and I thought I was being kicked out, medically retired. But this is how I provide for my family. This is what I feel like my calling in my life is. And I was not sure that I was going to get back to doing what I felt like I was called to do. In some ways, I made some realities that, well, maybe that was what I was called to do for this portion of my life, and I'm going to be called to do something else for the rest of my life. But I love the military. I love the Army. And I felt like I wasn't going to be able to perform and be the guy that I'd been for the past 17 years. And it got to me. I could tell you, although my drinking went down, my eating went up, and I put on some serious weight because I was eating shit, and it definitely was not the things that I needed to be eating to support my body healing. But you know what? That's where I was at. Never went, saw counseling or anything like that. About 8 months in, I turned to YouTube as my counseling. I started a YouTube channel. If you want to go through and watch me get in shape, get my life back, stuff like that, I've got a video almost every single day from somewhere around December the 5th. Now, I'm going to tell you, even today, my pain that I get, I had a little bit of pain yesterday, it's hardware pain. Hardware pain versus nerve pain. If you've ever had nerve pain, this will make sense to you. I will get pain in my lower back where my hardware is at. Sometimes I will overdo things. Sometimes I will bump. The other day at work, I bumped one of my screws Holy crap, for about 3 seconds. It's pain. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, when I get hardware pain at 12 months out, it's a 2. My day-to-day, what I was living with before the surgery, was a 6. And then I would do things during that period of time where it would jump up to an 8. I thought I knew what a 6 or 8 was until I was living with it every single day. There is a huge, huge difference between hardware pain and nerve pain. Nerve pain is debilitating. It makes you want to cut your leg off. Hardware pain, especially after you've had nerve pain, you can deal with hardware pain. It ain't shit. One kind of disappointing thing is that for 11 and a half months, I never once set off a metal detector. I was so disappointed because I'd flown, I was looking forward to getting on a plane and it beep, 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 and you know, TSA running over and tackling me or something. Yeah, it never happened. Finally, 2 weeks ago, I set off a metal detector. I set off the metal detectors at Disney World, going through them, and they'd had to do the little wand. And I got to tell a semi-cool little 30-second version of this 16-minute video. 12 months in, I could tell you, I got my life back. I do some things today that I put more thought into them than the way I did them 5 years ago. That's probably a good thing. We probably need to do that as we get over 35 anyway. But I have my life back. There is absolutely nothing that I don't feel like I can do that, you know, the only restriction I have anymore is what's going on up here. So if I can convince myself that I can do it, I have absolutely no physical limitations that keep me from doing it after having the spinal fusion. If you're getting ready to have a spinal fusion surgery, I wish you the best of luck. Listen to your doctors. Find a good doctor. It took me a minute to find a good doctor. It's worth it. There's a lot of YouTube videos out here, and there are a lot of naysayers, and they sit there and they talk a bunch of crap. You're going to have to get it in your head that you're going to heal. You're going to have to get in your head that you're not going to let this beat you. You're going to have to get in your head and you're going to listen to your doctor. You're going to do physical therapy and you're going to put in the friggin' work to get better. Because it's not all the surgeon. That's just one piece of it. It's all up here. And it's right here in your heart. You got to make up the decision that you're not going to let this spinal fusion dictate the rest of your life. That you're going to let this injury dictate the rest of your life. And if you can do that, I can guarantee you, you have a chance at success. You have a chance at a very, very bright future. It's scary. God knows. There were days I had tears come out my eyes because it was so friggin' scary what the future looked like. Y'all, I went over 2 years without being able to lift one of my kids. I have 3 kids. My favorite thing in the world is hugs. I could not lift my kids up for over 2 years. But you know what? There's nothing restricting me now. I did a 5K carrying my 8-year-old on my shoulders for almost the whole 5K yesterday. Not running, walking. At least 2 of the 3 miles she was on my shoulders or my back. You can do it. If you're not having spinal surgery and you know somebody that is, please share this video with them. I would love to be able to get my message out to as many people because I can tell you that I sat there for 2 weeks prior to having my surgery. I was scared shitless, and I sat there and I Googled and I read forums and I watched YouTube videos, and with the one single exception, every single person that I watched their video, I read what they wrote on a forum, they were bitching about how much pain they're in and how horrible this was, and having a fusion was the worst mistake they ever made in their life. I've come to the conclusion they put that on themselves because of the way they're thinking. And I know it's not true for every single one, and I'm sure there's some of y'all going to watch this and you're going to hate me. I do not believe I'm the exception to the rule. I think the only reason that I'm on YouTube and I'm telling you how the future can be bright is because the people who had those surgeries, that their future is bright and they're doing great, they didn't bother taking the time to make a YouTube video, and they didn't feel the need to get on a forum and complain about it or write about it because they're out there and they're enjoying their life. And I hope and I pray that every single one of you that has to go through this, or your loved ones have to go through this, I hope and pray that 12 months from now, they will be so excited and they will be enjoying their families and their lives and their environment and everything like that, that they won't even think about the need to make a YouTube video about it. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much. If you have a question, especially if you're getting ready to have the surgery, reach out to me. comment down below, find me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Just ask me a question. I'll be happy to talk to you. God bless.